Well, hello, friends. Good morning, um, depending on where you're watching. Today, I thought what I would do is I'm going to do a festive because we are in the month of December. So if you're watching this after, that's why I'm doing a festive eye look. I've already done my mascara, and so I'm just going to do my shadows and my brows. And then later, I'm going to go ahead and put my skin tint on. But first, what I like to do is I always like to do my eyes first. That way, if I have any kind of powder that falls down, I can brush it away. It doesn't usually happen, but I've always done it that way. So first I'm going to start out. I've already done my skincare. I'm trying a couple of new products along with my Ramond, which I still like, Ramond Skincare. It's a K-Beauty. And but my morning routine has kind of shifted a little bit. I wanted to try one of Restore's elixirs, and so I'm giving that a try right now. But anyways, so now I'm going to use their Prime and Protect because it's a 2-in-1. It has a primer, which I've never really used before. I mean, I have off and on, but I thought, you know what, I want to give this a try so that I can be honest with my clients or for anybody who wants to purchase something like this. It does have what I call a universal tint, so it goes on nicely, and I just think it just gives it that nice starting point for whatever kind of foundation or cream or tint that you're going to use. Plus, it has sunscreen 30 in it. So I'm going to do one pump, and that's all I use. Now, I will say sometimes it's a little difficult to get the stuff out, and I don't know if it's just because it is a pop-up. You know, I can't say that I'm really fond of pop-ups, honestly. I'd rather have it in a tube because then when the tube gets really low, I cut it and I dig the stuff out because I want every last drop. So now I'm going to just put this on here, and then I'm going to just get it all distributed around, and then I'm going to go on to the eye look. Today I'm actually going to what we call a Christmas tea at the church, so I was invited. Normally I would do my mascara after my shadows, but I thought, you know, I'll get the mascara done. I've also put on our balance. I put that on first, just a little bit, because I have some veins that are popping through. Happens when we get older. Our skin gets thinner. Aren't we lucky? And then I just take some of my tint, and then I will go over that. So now, again, I have a nice foundation. And then I will take the Nelly, which is this color, and I will take just a little bit of it and go over on the bone over my eye. I know that there's a really professional word for that, but I only went to 9th grade science. Only because I had to, because I could. Back in the day, we didn't have to go any farther than 9th grade in science and math, which I took advantage of that. And so now I put this on. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, and maybe this will be for those of you who have your favorite colors from other makeup companies. I do have a color that I'm going to use that is from a former makeup company that I was affiliated with, and I do have a lot of their eyeshadows. So I'm going to be honest with you, I use a lot of their eyeshadows, and I'm going to use this one right here. Now that color has a little bit of a shimmer to it, not too much. At my age, I don't want, you know, all the glitter. My eyes are dropping down, and I don't need to make it stand out any more than they already do. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my when this comes in your capsule in Restore, you do get to select a brow color. and mine is medium. But I also use it as a shadow. So I'm going to take the two-way brush that they have, the is it called Glow Brush? And I'm just going to press it right there on my bone right there. I'm not going to go in here because I don't want it to be any further in. I don't want it to recede any further in than it already is. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and forth, but let's press that in first because, you know, mature eyes have a lot of little crevices and wrinkles, and we want to get that in there. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to do a windshield wiper. And you notice how it's always my hand. I'm not using my arm. I know some women have a hard time with placing eyeshadows on, but that's how I do it. It took me a while, I got to admit. And then I'm going to go over to this side, do the same thing. Now, do you see how I'm not closing my eyes at all? I always keep my eyes open in this part because I want to know exactly where I'm placing it. Press it in and then wipe. Windshield washer, that's what I say. Well, I didn't come up with it. Now, I have this, which I got on Amazon, and it helps you to go from one eyeshadow color to another without mixing them. So I just kind of wipe it off, and then I'm going to look a little bit, and for some reason I always do this, maybe because it just makes my skin a little bit taut, and it just helps me. And I'm going to do that. So is everybody ready for, you know what, Christmas? I actually put my decorations up a little bit later than I did last year because, you know, we have a little one now, and not that he would get in the way, but I just spend so much time with him. I don't really want to do anything else. So I don't have him on Thursdays and Fridays, so I thought that would be a good time. All right, now I'm going to take this color, which, boy, I don't even know what color it is. Let me see if I can get it out. Yep, I did. Now this is from Saint. Which I'm, like I said, I'm no longer affiliated with. But if for anybody that does have Saint or can get this color, this is Eve. All right? Or you can get something close to it. You know, I would say it's like almost like a purplish burgundy. All right. Now I'm going to take, hold on, let me see. I'm going to take this brush, which again is from Saint, and you can use all kinds of brushes that you would like, but I'm going to take this round part because I want to be able to place it. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a little bit of on here, and then I'm going to knock off any excess. Then I'm going to place it right. Now when I place it on the corner, I'm not going to go out here. I'm going to place it just about where my line to my eyeball ends, the circle. You see? And did you notice that I didn't close my eyes? I just kind of laid it right in there, and I'm pressing it in, and then I'm going to move it forward. And then I'm going to go right up on that bone and draw it right over that bone. Now, I will say that I do like this brush for this purpose. I love the round tip. So if you don't have a brush that has a round tip, I would suggest to get one if you want to, you know, do an outer corner eye look like I'm doing. All right. Now probably I need to go a little light because I'm going to a woman's tea and I don't want to look like a hussy. You know what I mean? All right. Although I don't mind looking all glammed up. What Dolly Parton says, she don't mind looking like the town tramp, right? Right? Oh, I love that woman. She is just has such a sweet, kind heart. And I don't even know her personally. Okay, see how I did that? And now I'm going to just bring it right up on that bone, and then I'm going to just kind of almost make a C. See? Well, it's almost like a V, isn't it? And then I'm going to just move it back and forth on that. And do you notice how this is darker than this? So what does that mean? We got to go back and do this one. But that is A-okay with me. Maybe I will look like the town tramp today. I don't know. I will definitely probably be one of those ladies, God willing, if I live long enough, and can see I will be applying my makeup way into my 80s. I've already made arrangements for my daughter to do my makeup when I pass away, so she does it right. Okay, you see how that looks? And that gives a lift. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this eye because it's not as intense as I want it. So I'm going to put a little bit more, tap, come up, and do the same thing. But I'm not sure why I'm not getting so intense. There we go. All right, see that? Pull it in. Now, do you notice I'm just feathering it inward. I'm not going all the way because we're going to keep this part of our eye open. How did you like that exaggeration? You know, I used to do pantomimes when I was a young woman. What is that? It's not like where my face is painted white or anything, but I would dance to records and I would lip sync them and put movements to them. And the very first one that I ever did was called Cabaret by Liza Minnelli, and I had the whole shebang. I had the dark wig, short dark wig, I had the cabaret outfit, and I did, I think it's called Life is a Cabaret, and I believe it may have been my very first, what we call in the dance world, pantomime, and it was like I found my sweet spot. Because I always did jazz and tap and stuff. Never was really great at it, you know. I mean, I wouldn't be, you know, dancing on the stars or anything like that, or what do they call that other dance competition. And I was a mediocre dancer. But boy, when I found doing a pantomime, I could go to competition, take first place against some really good people who did pantomimes, and actually won a grand championship up in State Fair, and I'm bragging right now. And I loved it, and I did many of them afterwards. And so I can't believe where I'm going with this. There was a reason. See, that happens when you get to be my age. But anyways, I don't even remember why I was telling you that I used to do pantomime. Oh, I think it was my face expression, wasn't it? Yeah, which I do have many face expressions. So there you go. So there's that's done. So anyways, to just finish my story is pantomime was my thing, and I was very good at it. And it got me into acting, and then I started doing monologues to Bible characters like the woman at the well and Eve and Sarah. And then I would go and speak at churches and give my testimony as a post-abortive woman. But first I would do the woman at the well. And then I would come out and I would weave in the story of the woman at the well along with the redemption of my testimony. So anyways, I might as well just put a plug here. I did write a book about what it was like to be a post-abortive woman and my relationship with my daughter. So if you're interested. All right. Okay. Okay, now let's get back to the scheduled program, right? So anyway, so there. Now do you see how I did that? And I didn't even tell you what I used. I think I used Helen. No, I didn't use Helen. I used Mary Lou, which is this color from Restore. And I just tapped it here. And then I always tap the heaviest in the middle. And then I just move it out like that. And there you go. I think I like it. I think it's enough of a pop, but it's not overwhelming, right? So now I'm going to take my, my brow liner, and I'm going to take a little bit of my brow color, and then I'm going to go right up into, let me see, right up into my lashes. Now, normally this works better if I don't have mascara on. And I push that right up into my lashes. Now, I don't put it on the waterline, which is underneath the lash. I don't do that. And then I go in here and I try to stay as close as I can to my eyelash. All right. And hopefully my husband doesn't come in here. We'll see. I forgot to tell him that I was doing this. All right, and I'm going to go underneath here. The reason why I don't do eyeliner like most women do is because of my hooded eyes. And I think it just makes my eyes look smaller. So I always try to go very close so that my lashes stand out. See how I'm going really close? Now, if you prefer eyeliner, then go for it. And you will notice that I don't do any mascara on my bottom lashes. I'm not really sure why. I really don't know why. I think it makes my lashes look, or my eyes look smaller. And then, of course, I would then take my angled brush and I would just put a little bit of the brow color underneath here, or whatever color I want to use. Maybe I'll use that plum purplish color underneath there. Now I'm going to do my brows. Normally I would wait until after I do my brows or do my tint, but for your sake I'm going to show you how I do it. I always use a mascara brow. This has actually little pieces of fiber in that, so if you have sparse brows, I would suggest something like this. I think this is Antasia brow wig, it's called, but there's a lot of different ones out there. I always go against the hair so that it grabs onto it, and then brush it up, and then I leave it. Then I do it again to this side. I think this is taupe for me. And I do the same thing here. This side looks a little bit more like it's a little bit heavier with the hair. And I just grab on to try, just so that I can get those gray hairs and just fill in. And then I'm going to leave that. Then I'm going to take my brow pencil. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't use the brow powder from Restore because I prefer a pencil, right? You do you and I do me. Isn't that what they say? Now I hold this. Now see how I'm holding it? I'm not holding it way up here. I'm holding it here because I want nice fine strokes. And I'm going to go right along the edge and follow my arch. Now I've had my eyebrows microbladed, but it's been probably about 4 years. Stayed pretty well. And do you see how when I shaped it, I came from here down and then down? Now I'm going to go very lightly. See, I'm pushing on the skin, but in very quick strokes and filling in the bare areas. There you go. And now I'm going to go this direction. Now remember, ladies, these are not twins. They're cousins, so they don't have to be perfect. Yeah. And then I'm going to go right here. See how this kind of dips down? And I'm going to go about right here, and I'm going to come right across. I'm going to follow that. And I'm going to fill that in. Bring it down, and then flick up. This does take some practice. I remember when I first started, I looked like, you know, some of those ladies, you know, when you look at their brows, they look like they've just drew a line. So I have to say that this did take some practice. And there you go. And then I'm going to take my I call it concealer, which Restore calls it a bright. I'm going to take my bright, and I have a firm brush, which I recommend. I tried using their brush. It's not as firm as I prefer it, but you may like to use it. And I like the smaller brush. See the difference? Let me show you. Oh, see the difference in size? So I have a smaller one that I like to use. And now I'm going to just take it right there, and I'm going to just press it. And then I'm going to take it and just pull it right, arch it right up so that it gives me a little bit of lift. I need lift. I need lift more than my eyebrows, let me tell you. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to press. And then I'm just going to pull halfway. See how I go halfway? Then I'm going to come down here and connect it. And I normally, again, would wait until I do my tint, but I'll show you. Then I will take the bigger brush, put the tip into it, into the balance, and see how I draw a line? Because I want to get that lift. We need lift, 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 lift. Don't you wish we could do that with other areas of our body? Okay. And then I take my finger and I just press it in so that there's no line. But there is a distinction between the light and the dark. So there you go. So there's your festive look. Not sure if it looks festive enough to you. You pick your colors. I'm a pretty much brown, plum, neutral, I guess, would be my colors that I use on my eyes. And, you know, I try the blues and I try the greens and I try the pinks, and it just doesn't seem to work for me. So, I don't know how festive it looks to you, but it's festive enough for me. All right, if you guys have any questions, or hey, if you've got a way that you do your eyeshadows, or if you've got favorite colors that you do, put them in the link below, and we'll help each other out, okay? All right, you guys have a blessed day, and remember, aging is a fact, but looking your age, yeah, it doesn't have to be. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.